You're telling me this is a peasant stew? There's no way. Check out how I make this ribollita. Buongiorno. Welcome back to Onion Mike Media. We're back here in Kitchen Studio today and we're whipping up something different today. A little different. You know I like that Italian cuisine. We're making a ribollita. Essentially what a ribollita is just an old bread stew. Dates as far back, some say, as the Middle Ages. Peasants back then would make a bunch of soup. They would reheat it over the course of a couple days. It would be reboiled down in a pan. That's what directly translates to anyway in Italian, is reboiled. So it's just basically a bread stew with all these ingredients that you see right here. Beautiful parmesan that we got in here, some beautiful pancetta we got from the store earlier today. It's gonna be a good one, guys. So why don't you guys come in a little bit closer, hang out with me while I prep all this up for you, and we'll be good to go. All right, so just like every good Italian recipe, this one is gonna start with an onion. So the key to this dish is you want your mirepoix, which is always onions, carrots, celery, obviously a little shallot, a little garlic. You want this stuff minced up because you want it to reduce and caramelize beautifully. You're pretty much quintupling the surface area of the vegetable the more you mince it. So like times by 1,000 the most you mince. So I want this to be almost like minced garlic here. So I'm gonna do this quick, rapid fire. That's looking good to me. There's the onion. Shallot next, same thing. Bowl. 2 celery stalks. Two stalks of celery. And just 3 medium carrots, peeled and minced the same way. That's for 8 cloves of garlic. And for the garlic, all you're doing is smashing it. You really want to let garlic activate after you crush it for a bit. Get that Allison going in there too. Alright, so we made it through the boring rudimentary prep. Here's our bowl of mirepoix and our 8 smashed cloves of garlic. We're going to tear up some bread, we're going to strain some tomatoes. Let's go on. Every ribollita stew comes and is a staple for it is lacinato cal. That's what we have right here. That's what I'm going to strip from the rib and it's cut up in 2-inch pieces. So here we go. So now that's all cut here. Let's get it nice, like rough chop, nothing crazy. Put it in a little container, and that's good to go. So the main component of a ribollita, this nice Tuscan bread right here. And this is what we're gonna need. This is gonna go right on top when we're done cooking it. It's gonna toast off in the oven. It's gonna be absolutely perfect, gorgeous. We need 10 ounces. Let's see how much this is. 1 pound and 3 ounces, so that's 19 ounces. We're gonna use probably half of this. See what we got. Yeah, you know what? 13 ounces is fine. Just cut it up into like 2-inch chunks. So. Beauty. And then you can kind of just rip it off from there. All right, there's our bread. This is the onion Mike flavor we're gonna throw into this. We're gonna do a little beautiful cubed pancetta. 6 ounces here. It's really just Italian bacon, essentially. It's a pork belly just rolled into a nice roll like this, and it's just aged and cured with different spices and whatnot. So let's just get this cubed up. Probably 1/2 inch. And there's our pancetta, and that's going to be the base for the whole ribollita, because that's what we're going to start with. Second most important part, or the most important part, whatever you consider important, our whole San Marzano tomatoes here, because that's going to be basically the base of the soup. Pop these open, and we're going to crush them by hand. Oh, there's some beautiful looking tomatoes right there, guys. So basically you're going to want a bowl with a colander on top. You want to keep the juice, but you're going to crush the tomatoes and have them separate because they're going to be 2 different steps. So it's going to be tomatoes first, and then you're going to add the juice after. Putting the tomatoes in first is going to let it caramelize. You're going to build so much more flavor with that way. It's going to be kind of raw, flavorly if you don't build it that way first, so that caramelization helps bring out all the extra beautiful San Marzano flavor. So let's separate these.
Look at those tomatoes.
Oh, yeah. Get in there, you can use your hands. I love gloves. Careful, because they will kind of shoot everywhere, but I got them just set up where they should be alright. Alright guys, so we are ready to cook this. First I'm going to crack some wine to celebrate now, but we cook with the wine. It's going to call for a dry white, my recipe. That's what I'm going to use to deglaze the veggies that we cut up here a little while ago. It's going to add just another rich layer of flavor to this. It's going to be really good. Tomatoes and wine, they kind of go hand in hand. So I'm using a white Bordeaux. You can use a Pinot Grigio, you can use a Sauvignon Blanc, whatever it is, as long as it's a dry white. I'm going to use about a cup, so I'm going to pour this into this glass here. We'll set this off to the side here, and we'll get this pancetta rolling. So I got this Dutch oven over a medium-high heat, I'd say. Here goes the pancetta. Hear that?
Look at that sizzle. Oh.
You hear that? That's the sound of happiness, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see when this is rendered. Alright, we got ourselves some rendered pancetta here. Basically just treat it the same as bacon, just in a little different profile. Just look at that beautiful crispy pancetta. My goodness. All this bacon grease in here, or pancetta grease in here, is what we're going to use to build this soup. Saute all that so that's nice and translucent. I'll let this go on low for a little bit here. Just kind of let it do its thing. About 10 minutes, but I'm going to add a big fat pinch of salt to this. We'll call that 2 teaspoons. You don't want to do too much. That pancetta is already salt enough as it is, so anywhere from a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. You can't have salt without some fresh cut pepper either. Alright, so this has been going here for a good few minutes. We want this just to get a whole bunch of layer of flavor on the bottom there. Not really caramelized, but they're nice. Nice and brown. Sauteed, soft. That garlic is just falling apart as I poke it in there. So next, what we're going to do is get in those tomatoes. Not the juice, just the tomatoes. And let's get these bad boys in there. We're going to let these do the same thing as the veggies did just for a few minutes here. Cook out a lot of that raw tomato flavor and bring out that sweet, beautiful, rich tomato flavor. So this is getting there. You can see it just turning into that beautiful mixture like that. It's almost like a jam, kind of. It's kind of what you're looking for. Oh yeah, just look at all that. That's cooking, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is going to be such a great base for this really, really great classic Tuscan style soup. Stew, if you will. Alright, this is starting to look divine. This has probably been about a half hour total of just letting these veggies just kind of work their magic in here. Maybe even longer than that. So I'm going to kick the heat up and we're going to start making a soup here.
Look at that.
Look at that, man. I'm telling you, it's just gorgeous.
It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
It's time to deglaze. Here, actually, I'm going to have my buddy Tommy Skillian help me out with this really quick.
What am I doing here, Mike?
Just dump in the wine here while I stir. Ready?
Are you ready?
Yep. Let's deglaze. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, get that white wine in there. Now we're gonna cook this down. We're gonna let this turn into even more of a jam. And we are flying in here, guys. Oh yeah. I think deglazing might be my favorite part about any cooking in general. I feel like I always have to do it. It's just it's so satisfying. And there's something about like adding in an alcohol-based liquid that just helps bring out just some really deep flavor to your dish. Doesn't matter really what it is. If it's sauce based, I don't know. Beer with cheese, wine with tomatoes, just makes sense.
It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, literally. So it's going to be about 3/4 teaspoon of this nice picantissima seasoning. It's kind of just a bunch of different peppers and herbs going right in there. If you don't have that seasoning, just use crushed red pepper. Oh, yeah. Keep the heat over medium while you build it. You don't want to scorch everything. In goes that tomato juice. You can use water, you can use stock, you can use a veggie stock. I'm gonna use a beef stock today. It's gonna bring out, we're going for deep, rich flavor with this today. It's kind of what we want. We want layers of flavor everywhere. If you've seen my jambalaya video when I was camping, all I talk about is flavor, man. This is another one of those. So a little bit of beef broth. Got veggie, I use veggie. You can do this fully vegetarian too, omit the pancetta. I've done it vegetarian in the past, but today we're stepping it up. So about 4 quarts beef stock. Give this a stir, and then one of the most important parts of this entire dish, the rind of some beautiful Parmesan cheese that we've used for the past few weeks. Made some nice fettuccine with this, whatever. If you got this in your fridge, even if you have a full wedge of Parmesan, just cut the rind right off because you're not going to use it for anything other than this. So just bring it to a simmer. All right, now while this was coming up to a simmer, we're also going to add another layer of flavor to this. We're going to add a sprig of rosemary. We're going to add a sprig of thyme. I don't know if you guys are ready for how good this is about to be. That looks like a simmer to me. So now, while that's simmering like that, let's get this cal in there that we shredded up earlier, that lacinato cal. We're going to add it in batches, let it wilt, add another batch, let it wilt, and then we're going to go from there. First batch, probably about half and half. Well, you can already see it's just taking right to it. Heat's about over a medium right now. And this is one of those soups that, you know, essentially it's just the next day remnants of whatever soup you would cook the night before back in, you know, the medieval times or the 1800s or whatever it was over in Italy. It's essentially a peasant stew. And that's what ribollita means, is reboiled. So we're basically just reboiling the remnants of last night's stew with some stale bread, some old cal, root vegetables and such, just to kind of build that flavor back up. And it becomes so rich and so flavorful that it's actually kind of turned into a Tuscan delicacy. Now Tommy Scanlon's going to start putting in the rest of the cal.
On my way, Mike. On my way. There you go.
Oh. So we're going to let this wilt for just another second or two. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to toss in that bread I cut up earlier, that torn bread. And we're going to stir that up, let that kind of all absorb. And again, day-old bread, that's usually what this recipe is calling for. The staler, the better. Don't be afraid to use fresh. It's okay. Don't let those food purists tell you how to make ribollita. You make it how you want it. And I'm talking to you, food purists. Leave a comment and tell me what I'm doing wrong here. Because I think I'm doing everything right.
You are. I mean, Mike Media.
Thanks, buddy.
You are.
Thanks, Tommy.
I got you.
Thanks, Tommy Scallion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this bread cook off for about 5 minutes or so. Just kind of let it all absorb and just kind of get delicious in there. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. So this is what we're going to do here, guys. We're going to take this off the heat. We're going to move this to right here. We're going to layer just all the rest of that bread right on top. Nice layer of crusty bread on top, guys. Just so we get a beautiful char on this bread, we're going to coat that. Just like so. Take a look at this beautiful soup we got going here. This is going right in the oven, guys. Alright, that's going to go in there for about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes or so until that bread starts to get golden brown on top. Just enough time for me to pour up a little glass of that Bordeaux we used to cook with. And thank you guys for watching, as always. Listen, if you like what you saw, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Tell me whether or not I made this the right way. I know there's a lot of variations out there. There's a lot of recipes that tell you to do it one way. There's a lot of recipes that tell you to do it another way. I don't care. I made it Onion Mike's way. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you again for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Happy eating. Please, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, comment. I think we're ready. All right, so we've been sitting here. This has been in the oven for about a half hour. I wanted the bread to get really toasty. It wasn't stale bread that I had, it was fresh bread. Like I said, stale bread is better for this. I had fresh bread, so I left it in there just a little bit longer to get nice and golden brown on top. That is what you want. The entire recipe will be in the description below. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Beautiful. Guys, that's what the ribollita is supposed to look like. This thing is great. We're about to just serve this up right now. Let's go. Look at that, guys. That is a beautiful ribollita. If you're a bunch of peasants just sitting in the Middle Ages just wondering what you're eating this for days, and I would. This is Tommy Scallion's He was helping me with the whole entire video, so we're gonna get him in this. He's gonna get a little reaction with us. First, here's a ponytail.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You gotta have it, man. I would, but I don't have the long hair. And unfortunately, I do not have the hairline. So we're gonna keep my hat on
It's alright.
forever.
I mean, this is just looking so delicious. Bottom of the bowl, a little bit of Asiago. Oh yeah.
See that
Pancetta.
pancetta? It's a game changer. Really.
Right in the bottom of the bowl.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, dude. It's still hot as F.
Beautiful flavor profile. I'd say. It's called the bread, especially the crust, adds a wonderful texture.
Perfect texture.
And that pancetta really just, it hits you out of nowhere.
Saltiness. The
It
umami
really,
of that.
oh,
That really just comes together beautifully in this. You can taste every layer of flavor that we did. From the pancetta all the way to the bread.
but just the perfect amount of spice where it's still comfortable and it just warms you up inside. So I think that's the real game changer here.
Nothing better than being warmed up inside.
Nothing better.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Tommy Scallions.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Honey Mike.
Can't go wrong with just a beautiful Ribollita Italian peasant stew. You're telling me a peasant used to make this? This is high-end dining here, ladies and gentlemen. The entire recipe is in the description. Happy eating, guys. As you can tell with this little behind the scenes here, we absolutely destroyed that Ribollita. Might be one of the best things that Onion Mike's made. What do you think, Bert? Kitchen's absolutely destroyed. But we ate every last bit of that Ribollita. That was so good. Thank you again, as always, for watching. Thank you for liking, for subscribing. Make sure you hit that, both of those, all three of those, every single button that's in front of you. Just hit the buttons.
Hit the button.
Hit the buttons. Onion Mike Media here. It's Onion Mike here in Kitchen Studio. Thanks for watching. Happy eating. See you next time.